to leave open both, so Misfits Academy.
LeBlanc Syndra, Varus Syndra.
Possibly. They can also go Nautilus Varus here and then take Syndra as the next pick, flex the Nautilus until the very last pick.
Have Fnatic been outdrafted? I know it's very, very early to say in a draft phase, but we were talking about how strong that Syndra is. Now we see Misfits leave the LeBlanc open. Still got Syndra available here.
I mean, when you consider that they have last pick of phase 1, then the bans, then first pick of rotation 2, and last pick to counter pick.
No Varus pick is a little bit surprising, in all honesty. The Kha'Zix is being locked in here from Misfits, and now Fnatic look towards the Gragas.
It might be that they're trying to get Fnatic to pick the Varus themselves because they're not convinced by it. But Fnatic have realized that that is one of the problems here. So Misfits Academy get their priority jungler, and we're going all the way back to game number 1. KOZQ, 1 game away from making it into the LCS, is rolling the dice on a Katarina that failed for Misfits Academy in the first game of this series.
He's confident, Stress. You got to give him that. It's a bold strategy, Stress. We'll see if it works out for him. Katarina is so impactful when she gets ahead, and we've seen KOZQ get ahead with her before. Last 2 games, he had impeccable scorelines when he was playing that Katarina in the regular split, and once against Schalke. Now, Kled ban comes out again from Misfits, and now Varus from Fnatic Academy. So I expect Fnatic probably looking towards the Ezreal as their AD carry lock-in.
Yeah, which whether Misfits Academy take it away or not is another story. They're still, of course, flexing the Nautilus. Will it be the Fizz ban coming through? That would make it a little awkward. Maybe they'll ban a jungler here. The Kled still, because Gragas can flex to the jungle, although I do not anticipate it. Gragas into Kha'Zix is a tough matchup. There is the Fizz. Misfits Academy are still going all in to make sure Fnatic don't flex this Gragas to the jungle and get a decent matchup for themselves.
The only thing I'm thinking about now as well is you've got double AD carry bans. Ezreal for Yuki.
Steal the Ezreal away.
Takes it away from Marliz, and Marliz is now looking at Caitlyn or perhaps Sivir. He played that once, the game they lost against Giants, I believe. And Cannon! Oh, baby!
It is, of course, a Fnatic pick. Mr. Rales is going to try and do his best Reckless impression. Fnatic are the only team in the EU LCS to really have succeeded on Cannon.
I can hear Deficio and Crepo's like cries of anguish.
But of all the AD carries that can self-heal against a Katarina in a team fight, Cannon has absolutely godlike peel at that point. Now, does he die before it comes off? That is another question, but we saw KOZQ fail jumping into the exhaust. So we've also found out it's tank versus tank top lane. Jisoo is going to be on that Nautilus because Dreams picked that Karma as the last pick. Kennen, Zyra, a lot of crowd control, but going up against Ezreal Karma should not get that much of an advantage. Mid lane, however, is the matchup to watch. LeBlanc, Katarina, again.
I'm stoked for this game, Stress. I think we couldn't have a better storyline coming into Game 5. And just the changes in the draft, the eclectic picks with the Kennen, it shows you as well how much you can be aided as a team by having a sister team to scrim and to play against, because playing with Reckless or against Reckless will definitely give you ideas as to how to play this Cannon.
A lot of teams have been testing the Cannon ever since and having success with it in scrims. It's kind of becoming a bit of a meme now against Splice and Misfits themselves. So it's interesting that now we're seeing it permeate through into the other teams. I wonder how key, though, the summoner spells will be, because Misfits Academy have taken 2 ignites. They have no exhaust against this LeBlanc.
Last time we saw KOZQ get shut down by those exhausts. This time, Fnatic Academy are looking to shut down Misfits Academy's hopes of getting into the LCS. It's all down to this. It's Game 5 between Fnatic Academy and Misfits Academy.
The pressure truly is on between these two teams. A best of 1 to decide team number 9 entering the EU LCS summer split. Of course, you can see in the bottom left of your screen, Giants will take on Origin following this game in a best of 5. The winner of that will face the losing team from this best of 5 tomorrow as a last chance to dance series to get into the summer split.
Neither of these teams will want to be there.
No. To get one game away and then have to play a game the following day would be heartbreaking, but at the same time, they just need to focus on this game. Their minds will not be on Origin and Giants right now.
Focus on the game at hand. Double exhaust once again into Cosq on that Katarina. However, there's so many targets for him to pick off. The Zyma, the LeBlanc, gone Corrupting Potion in this middle lane just for a little bit extra sustain into that Katarina.
Remember, game 1, First Blood went to Cosq.
And still wasn't able to snowball it.
And he ended the game like 2-6 because he got picked off by Fnatic. Yeah. This Lee Sin pick worked very well for them. Kikis has an engage tool. If they can find Cosq, stop his ult, stop the Death Lotus, maybe in the team fights later, that'll be enough. But look at the early game presence here. The poke coming from Ezreal and Karma in the bottom lane. Rallis is struggling to sit behind the minion wave as it pushes into them. And again, Fnatic Academy is starting to struggle in the early game against Misfits Academy.
And this is the strength of Yuki and Dreams in lane. They're so good at harassing. They're so good at getting that CS lead, of pushing their enemy laners back time and time and time again. And we tend to see them just be able to extend this into wins later on. But Fnatic Academy have been really good at judging that and keeping Amazing down towards this bottom side to try and help out that AD carry and support.
It's been so influential so far that Rallis has used 2 of his health potions already, so he's now even with Yuki on the amount of remaining potions. Of course, Yuki starting at that Doran's Blade.
And it's not even like Yuki's burnt through a huge amount of mana. You can see it's starting to equalize. Now, I thought this would be 50-50. Fnatic were at 86% earlier on, so they've lost 21% or so. Misfits Academy still the underdogs.
They lost 2 games back-to-back against Misfits Academy, showing very similar problems in games 2 and 3. Finally rectifying it in game 4, and now we find ourselves a completely different draft. Like Fnatic opting for blue side, being put on the cannon. They got the LeBlanc. How much will it work for them?
Fnatic's wins have felt more secure, more in control than Misfits Academy. As Misfits seemed a little bit more haphazard at times, just lucking out, for want of a better word, and getting a 1-for-1 trade or something.
I think the thing about Misfits wins is they were slow and steady, whereas Fnatic have looked aggressive like this.
Kick is going to go in. Jisoo caught out under turret, and that's First Blood for Fnatic. Amazing. Gets the kill. Well-worked
First Blood on Jisoo under the tower. It's difficult for Jisoo to get out at level 3 with Amazing putting his focus topside. Look, Pride Stalker is only now entering the back of the lane, so Misfits Academy couldn't really react in time. And that's an important First Blood. We've seen what Fnatic can do when Amazing gets ahead.
Using the teleport as well can be quite impactful. Jisoo kept his flash. No flashes or other summoners burnt on Fnatic.
And that's where I really wonder whether this Katarina was the right way to go for Misfits, because when they've been playing composed, they actually look better. When they're playing less scrappy, they look stronger, and they're able to get the leads. Like, I think back to game 2, the Syndra game for Cosq was an impressive performance. They utilized him very well moving around, but now they've got to take a tough matchup. Cosq.
Here is Amazing. Flash away by Cosq. Will get him to safety until Niski jumps back in. Not quite enough damage to take out the Katarina.
Of course, Niski running the exhaust himself. Now Pride Stalker wants to go in on Amazing. Double flash from Fnatic. Cosq sticking around here. One stray Q may have spelled the end for him, but Pride Stalker sticking around. That's in case if Niski distorts forwards, he just jumps on it, kills him instantly, and walks away. Very tense moment in mid lane.
Early trades going in favor of Fnatic on the top side of the map. Bot lane is evened out a little bit, although Yuki and Dreams will be able to push up that wave once again. Be interesting to see what itemization the Ezreal decides on, whether he goes towards that tier for a little bit more scaling, or whether the Sheen pick up his there early on.
Interesting, Coscu not opting right towards that Hex Drinker that he bought in game number 1. Of course, did get first blood. His gold was enough to buy 1 longsword and a null magic, but he's opting for damage, trying to get a little bit of that AD scaling that Coscu has on this Katarina. So we'll see whether that's kind of the difference maker to get a kill or not. Kikis wants to roam mid, though. They know Coscu doesn't have flash. Body slam flash is available.
Kikis looking for it. Here's Niski as well. Body slam flash in. Coscu trying to dodge around, but you can't dodge away from the chains. He's caught under turret. Niski, 1 more auto will be enough. He gets taken down in return. A 1-for-1 under the tower.
It's messy. It's a 1-for-1. Kikis and Niski thought they had enough damage, but nobody was there to be able to survive under the tower. It's a nice setup. Like, Kikis gets a body slam flash in place. Coscu, the fact that he threw the dagger up in the air and had the time to do so was enough to take Niski low, and then the tower finishes him off. Barely the tower gets that kill. Maybe that's the difference between longsword and null magic at that point. Just that little teeny extra damage.
Exactly, especially when you've got a Negatron cloak on to Niski as well. Jisoo's going to use the blast cone to flash away here. Gets himself out. Was actually waiting in the bush for Kikis to try and get a good trade-off, but Amazing was there once again. Amazing has been ubiquitous for Fnatic Academy early on in this game, ganking very well. Depth charge onto Kikis.
Right,
yeah, probably not going to jump all the way across the wall for that. Didn't know where Amazing was. Now he does.
Yeah, spots him out. Pride Stalker kind of revealed himself. Look at where Coscu is on the map, though. Either clearing a ward or kind of waiting for people. Put it down a ward, and that's Fnatic trying to just assume river control for now. They finally got the push on in the bottom lane, but they are still down in CS again.
Misfits have a very small window where their teleport is up first. If they've timed that correctly, perhaps they will look for a Dragon play or a bot side play. Haven't really got the deep vision they need for it, but always a possibility. And actually, Rales and Kly are doing okay in this lane. They have started to fall behind in CS as we expected them to, but they haven't been harassed down too much.
That's one thing that I would have liked to see Misfits Academy do to try and set up that bot lane play, is have dreams while Rales and Kly were out of lane, put the ward behind them.
Yeah.
They don't have a sight stone yet, so their wards are few and far between. So Misfits Academy warded their own bush to try and deny Kly bush control here, because Kly is going to move forward, try and get the roots down. Niski and Coscu.
Death Lotus used his Pride Stalker as well, trying to void assault in. Kikis is already on his way down once again. Fnatic are playing so much as a team here. It's always 2 or 3 members ready to back up someone if they get caught out.
But Misfits Academy have had decent vision control at the same time. Like that control ward does deny Fnatic's ability to make a play on mid lane, so Misfits Academy certainly still trying to fight back. That 1 kill on Coscu may be enough to get him a little further down the road, a little closer to carrying. Now Niski's roaming first. This is where Coscu has to be careful, as does Pride Stalker.
Pride Stalker's going to jump away. The bot lane is reacting, and Coscu's on his way as well. There's the Mantrid in a flame. Amazing gets it. Coscu's going to jump in. Here's Yuki as well. Amazing safeguards away. The grasping roots will slow Misfits in their track. True Shot Barrage, not enough damage on it to take down Amazing.
Barely Amazing gets out with his life. Got the blue buff as well, as you saw just put too much damage down as Niski was queuing it as well.
This is such a tense game here, Stress. You can feel both teams know the magnitude that is on the line right now. That LCS spot, of course, whoever loses still has another shot, but when you are 30 minutes away from your dream, that distant possibility of another series to get in is just not what you want to be thinking about at all.
No, not at all. But Fnatic Academy, they still are down in the bottom lane. Misfits Academy have somewhat stabilized, but look at how they're trying to play around Coscu. How Fnatic are playing around him. Like wards on these pathways into the jungle, wards around blue buff, the river, control wards in river as well. It's a difficult time for Coscu to get out of lane. He's getting shoved in, and then Niski is roaming first.
However, when we've seen Misfits Academy win games recently, Yuki has been a backbone of their success. And here he's starting to get ahead on the Ezreal. We've seen how strong he can be. Kikis is coming down again. Kikis is here. Pride Stalker's around the corner. Amazing knockback. Amazing's dead, and now they get the reset onto Niski. Pride Stalker and Coscu going in. Jisoo's there as well, and they'll spot Niski going forward. He jumps back. Smart play by Nisqy to escape.
Nisqy just waiting long enough to jump back. Cosq thought he was jumping to the pad that was there, but flashes over, finds nobody. I believe it was where the Mimic came from. We'll take another look at that exchange, but Cosq was trying desperately to get that second kill. Already got the one from it, amazing. Not respecting the damage that was coming out of Cosq.
Not respecting the fact that Pridestalker was waiting in this bush as well.
And Pridestalker had found his way to that bush without being spotted, so Amazing goes in. Kick first because he doesn't want Cosq to jump out, then Cosq jumps right back onto him. Exhaust dodges the cast from Cosq, and just wasn't quite enough.
You can see, actually, Misfits Academy were pinging further into their jungle, thinking that Nisqy had gone there, but smart play by the LeBlanc, that's what you can do.
Nice little escape out of Nisqy. Not the first time we've seen that from him.
High APM as well, to be able to get the Mimic down in that time alongside using all of your other spells.
We StarCraft now.
As important as APM.
600. Keep going.
600 APM, dearie me, Stress. What sort of StarCraft players do you watch? That's crazy.
Flash, J-Dong.
Like, even they only hit like 500 or so. Clyde's going to get forced back here once again by Dreams and Yuki. Yuki, perhaps not high APM plays, but still harassing down well, and decided against going Sheen here, Stress. He went Tyr and Cull. So playing a little bit more passive in that lane. Going for later on.
Going for the later build now, picks up the Sheen. He knows that it's okay to do that. Not really any threat to him. He's an Ezreal, so he can avoid a lot of situations.
How much does this say about Misfits' strategy, though? Because Yuki has been one of their shining lights in games when they win. Yeah. And here they're just saying, look, we'll scale you up. We don't need to win early game to win the game. Feels a lot slower from them. Yeah, he's been doing a considerable amount less than we would have come to expect from him, though, in this series. Actually only averaging around about 19% of the team's damage share, which is low for an AD carry. That is offset by the fact that Jisoo has had like 30% with like a Rumble game and a Jace game, but Yuki, he's had a quiet game. Since that pentakill, like the pentakill was like the pinnacle for him in this series, and since it's been slow. But he's done a good job in the laning phase, specifically. Yuki and Dreams have generally been ahead at most points against his Fnatic bot lane. Well, Fnatic keep their small gold advantage, about 500 or so ahead across the board. That's just in CS, really. Top lane, there's a slight advantage for Kikis in mid. A minuscule deficit for Cosq. Now, Clyde's coming up towards mid once again, roaming around. This is something we see him do a lot. And with Kikis here, Fnatic Academy will attempt to siege their first tower of the game. Not quite there. Cosq, however, caught out with the grasping root. Nisqy jumps in. Double bubble, not going to be enough damage to take out Cosq. Down in the bottom lane, though, Mr. Rallis has been pushing, doing his best Reckless impression. Trying to get damage done on that side lane. Good follow, Observer. That was an important ultimate to be able to crack. Ooh, and that's an important ultimate to save the tower there. That would have been a tower going down. Cast comes out from Kikis. Now he is a little vulnerable under that tower, though, without that defensive ultimate to blast people back. Everyone else is on the other side of the map at the moment. Yeah, that's the problem. Pridestalker is in the mid lane, so nobody can help him. And that's actually something I want to talk about a little bit, because Pridestalker's been relatively quiet this game, and across the last couple of games, we talked about his Kha'Zix being one of his standout picks, but hasn't really been able to make the impact he would have liked on this bug. That's fair. He hasn't quite had the impact, but I think when we're comparing him to his previous Kha'Zix, like I get that game against Lulex where he just demolished him, it's difficult to live up to that, right? Yeah, it's true. Pridestalker's see if we can get anything done towards top here. Explosive Cask is down still, but Pridestalker's, I want the friendly minion, dodges back. Amazing's around the corner, as you can see. Face of concentration there by Jisoo as he continues to fight up in this top lane. And it looks like Misfits Academy will be able to go for this tower. Cosq's coming in from the side. Yeah, you can see. He gave you just an inside view on the shot calling for tower going down. That's Misfits Academy. Tower first blood in the top lane. Surprise, surprise. And it gets Misfits ahead for the first time in the game as well. Last game, it wasn't enough. But, I mean, Rallis has been pushing in this bot lane for a long time, and Yuki and Dreams have cleared it out long enough that that tower first blood went in the way of Misfits Academy. That's a significant
stalling tactic bot lane.
So what we're seeing in mid as well is that both of these laners just push out the wave and then try and roam somewhere time and time again. Great follow observer, seriously, that's impressive stuff. The tower's still going to go down. Tower for tower, still a gold lead here for Fnatic Academy.
Is that where you're going on this, with 2 kills apiece?
Hey, I used to observe quite a lot, and it's actually quite difficult to do that unless you're practiced. So you have to give the observers credit when they do something cool. That is not cool, but I like to give them credit anyway.
Okay. I used to observe too.
Yeah, you did.
In my day, we had to figure out how to follow Rek'Sai.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
Not just spacebar it.
No. It looks awful if you spacebar Rek'Sai. You actually have to completely unlock everything and do it
manually. You need
not manually, but there's a different way of doing it. Anyway, that's observer mechanics. Nobody needs to know that. We're in game 5.
At the moment, we're observing amazing taking down this Mountain Drake. No reaction from Misfits Academy, or no ability to react, at least as Pride Stalker was back in base. This is going to be the first dragon falling for Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic Academy getting themselves on the dragon control board is a very clunky name for it, and I don't think we should call it that in future.
I wouldn't, in all this distress.
It's a terrible name. I don't know why we called it that. But Niski, he wants blue buff. It's been a very passive game, considering there's a Katarina, a LeBlanc, a Kennen, like all of these picks. But that shows the magnitude of this series.
Definitely.
When it's an LCS spot on the line, and you can't have what happened to game 1 in the for Misfits go the same again. It's just completely not helpful if KOZQ gets caught out a couple of times. But this time he is 2 kills up. Pride Stalker comes in. Now Misfits are going to take down the tower.
Kikis is on his way though, and actually Fnatic might look for the fight. Here's Kikis, explosive cast, knocks back. He's going to jump away. Mantrad Inspire gets them out for the time being. Still 3 minions there, but Misfits unwilling to step forward. They haven't actually got vision on Kikis yet. Pride Stalker now realizes there's a Grag man waiting for them in the bush. True Shot Barrage used bot to push out the lane. Here goes Jisoo into the front line. Stranglethorn's down. There's a Slicing Maelstrom as well to try and disengage. But here comes KOZQ, exhausted straight away. Kicked back. He does not survive the fight as Rallas will get the kill. Kikis flashes in with the body slam, and Misfits are on the retreat. However, Yuki's got a kill. Pride Stalker jumps in, not quite able to get the targets he wants. Yuki's still alive though, and Kikis caught up, will body slam across the wall.
Fnatic Academy throwing a couple of cooldowns in the wrong place perhaps, but still coming out ahead of that fight. Mr. Ralles thought the KOZQ was about to jump in, so he preemptively slicing Maelstrom. As KOZQ jumped in though, then the exhausts came out. I think they were layered on top of each other looking at the cooldowns, but we'll have another look at that during the replay. But Fnatic Academy maintain control of this mid lane tower and maintain a gold lead. So this was the exchange. Jisoo threw himself into the fight, expecting to catch Niski. There was the slicing Maelstrom, and KOZQ jumps right in, double exhaust goes down, and KOZQ ends up getting picked up. Nice body slam flash through the fight. Niski ends up dying at the end of all things, but Mr. Ralles is able to kite back around, get himself in a position to stay safe in the fight, and 2 for 1 overall for Fnatic Academy.
The thing is though, Stress, if those exhausts are being used onto KOZQ when he jumps in, already we saw Yuki do quite a lot of damage in that last fight.
Yeah.
If you, only about 1,000, but still, more than enemy mid laners, we'll say. If we get to later game when that Ezreal is at 4 items or so, and he doesn't get caught out at the start of the fight, and he has consistent damage down, Misfits Academy have a very good shot of winning these teamfights.
They do. They do. The difficulty is if a Yuki gets caught and ends up dying to, for instance, Niski, that's when the teamfight kind of crumbles.
Yep.
And you can see Fnatic Academy have to concede their mid tower here because Kikis was on the bot side, in bot lane, pushing up. The rest of the team wasn't there to defend. Ralles was topside. This is the danger of running one of these compositions with Kennen. Right now, he hasn't got the Hurricane yet, so we can't clear the minions out quite as fast. We'll have to Lightning Rush through and then use the W to try and clear. Normally, Kennen has exceptionally fast clear past that Hurricane point, but it's slow. He couldn't get to mid lane. Misfits Academy take mid tower and look to stabilize in this game.
It's the first time we've been in a game this series, and the gold has been even at the 20-minute mark. Stress, Misfits Academy and Fnatic Academy showing how equal they are as competitors here on the grand stage. Both of them, of course, looking for that LCS spot. Fnatic Academy unequalize the gold with a turret in that top lane and put themselves 800 ahead.
But it's okay, it was past the 20-minute mark, so
yeah,
statistically,
exactly.
It was an even game for 20 minutes.
Hey, that's what I care about, okay? The statistics that don't lie. Now, Blast Cone used by Amazing to jump himself away. PrideStalker's still been relatively quiet this game. We saw him trying to jump in at the end of that last team fight, but we haven't seen the resets. We haven't seen the Kha'Zix of yesteryear for PrideStalker yet.
Not yet. I mean, I assume he's evolved Q and W, so PrideStalker won't have resets for another 4 levels. Nearly forgot. Nearly forgot how to count. Misfits will have resets from Q though. That is where the real potency in teamfights will be. Gunblade build out from both mid laners, just getting as much damage as they can.
We're starting to see first items, second items across the board. As you say, Mr. Morales has that Hurricane finish. It looks like a Trinity Force second for Yuki as expected. Black Cleaver on towards PrideStalker, and then tanky items in the top lane. Interesting choice by Jisoo. He's gone for the Aegis. Now, you can go Locket of the Iron Solari, or you can go Banner of Command. This
may very well be a Locket, which isn't typical out of a lot of top laners, but the theory, you already have a Karma. You want to get AoE shields coming through, and if Q gets a shield and it's enough to survive, then Misfits Academy may very well just win the team fight from it. If he goes Banner of Command, the thinking there is Gragas' AP can't clear the minion.
Exactly.
So there are, you know, both sides to the coin. We'll see where he ends up going. It's a Locket.
It is a Locket, so good prediction there, Stress.
I mean, I predicted both, right? So all I did was gave you the options of why you'd go either. It's
that's what color casters do, though, don't they? You never actually have to make a solid decision.
I don't know. Sometimes we do. And that's when we're wrong and people like call us out for it.
At the moment, the decisions that you make as to the item builds are not as important as the decisions these teams are making. Once again, Fnatic start up a Dragon, and Misfits do not contest second Dragon of the game over to Fnatic Academy and Amazing.
It is an Ocean Drake, though. So for Fnatic Academy, that's not massively influential in the way that they want to play this game out, but they are trying to go mid lane. If they can dive here, Kikis has a flash available. Cast hits Yuki.
But he jumps away. And this is the thing, if Yuki can survive, even if Kikis is going for these engages, it's strong stuff for Misfits Academy. However, Jisoo's never going to be able to take down that Gragas by himself. And Misfits Academy reset once again. Battle lines drawn. Mid lane is the split point between these two teams. The dead man's land right in the middle there. As you see, PrideStalker jump forward, slow down Niski. Misfits Academy decide they do not want to fight yet. They're waiting for those spikes.
Kikis shows in the top lane now, and Jisoo will show in the bottom lane. Although Jisoo does have a tower down there in order to try and push towards.
It's the power of Yuki on Ezreal, the power of Ezreal generally. Highest damage in the game on that AD carry, and he hasn't really even hit the powerful points of Ezreal yet.
A lot of that is he was landing poke, first of all in the laning phase, then while they've been sitting in mid lane. Just worth keeping note that not only is it very high damage, it's a safe AD carry as well, especially when you got a Karma, when you got a Nautilus that has Locket of the Iron Solari. Jisoo going full team-focused build, not caring about himself, but he's been let split push on Nautilus in the bot lane. This feels like an oversight from Fnatic that Kikis should have been down there earlier. Should have been able to... Ooh, Q.
That's what we're talking about. You talk about shields and Q being safer.
Yeah.
The reason he could go back in there was he had an inspired shield from Dreams, keeping him safe, keeping him secure.
See, and now Kikis is shown in the bottom lane, and that means Jisoo can drop out of the lane and either threaten a teleport or recall or look to go back to the lane again, and it means Kikis has to move up towards the mid lane because they don't know exactly where he is.
Misfits Academy trying to get some vision around this Baron. At the moment, Fnatic have the priority in that top side river. There is a ward here or there for Misfits, but still the actual Scuttle Crab control is much in favor of Fnatic. And now they've got 4 members pushing mid. Jisoo's on his way, as is Dreams. Kick is actually there off towards the side as well. Kosku's realized he's on his way down. How long can Misfits defend
it's
this?
It's going to be the tower going down, surely.
Oh,
they caught Amazing.
Amazing caught up. Jisoo there was the front line. Amazing forced back. Kick us off towards the side as well. Kozku was on his way.
Yeah, Kozku is just close enough that Fnatic spotted him on the wards coming down. They're going to lose a control ward for it, but desperately trying to pick off that mid lane tower. They have a slew of wards all the way around. Oh, Niski's going to try and find Yuki. That's the pick that they're looking for.
But Yuki showing us he can play safe once again. I would not be surprised if we see a QSS from him relatively soon as well. Gonna jump in onto Rales here. Half health, Kozku goes in, the Ignite is ticking, the depth charge coming in as well. It's enough to take him and sink the ship that is Fnatic. 2 kills to Misfits as they collapse.
Yeah, Kickers didn't even teleport. Amazing wasn't in the lane. Rales looked to be too far pushed up, and Niski was the one that had initiated any kind of play there. This has just become a very difficult game for Fnatic as they have to desperately try and hold on around the Baron. Misfits have already started it, but look, Dreams is low. Yuki is in the back of the pit. Kozku is defending. Can Amazing get in there? No Sonic Wave for now.
There's an explosive cast, though. Dreams knocked back. Kozku goes into the pit. Yuki trying to jump away. Amazing's low. Yuki up towards the side, fighting up against Kikis. Misfits have re-engaged. Amazing
Kozku
jumps in, gets Kozku. However, Kikis has fallen. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Misfits stop the Baron.
They stop Baron because Fnatic pushed in. They deterred it for long enough. Mr. Rales is alive. Cly is back. Fnatic Academy have just done enough. But look at this. This was Kozku jumping right onto Rales. He wasn't fast enough to get out. It was a late flash. Jisoo was in range. Cly flashed out as well. So now Fnatic's bot lane don't have their crucial defensive summoners available. But this was the exchange. Fnatic, they've started the Baron. They denied Misfits Academy. We need to go to the live view because Pridestalker is closing in.
TP's coming in as well. There's Niski jumping onto Pridestalker. Catches Dreams instead. Here's Jisoo. True Shot Barrage is going to come across as well. Pridestalker's still alive. There's a slicing master, but look at Jisoo. It's just too done. Tanky. Pridestalker in. Baron goes to Amazing, though. It's Fnatic secure it. Can they secure themselves a few lives? Perhaps Amazing gets knocked back. Misfits Academy able to get 2 kills, but they lose out on the Baron.
Oh, Amazing is trying desperately to get out. Can he dodge the hook? Sidesteps. 3 members of Fnatic Academy survive with the Baron. And Amazing brushes himself off as perhaps the experienced Baron call is enough to reclaim his spot in the LCS. We didn't see the lead up to this, but this was the point where Jisoo ended up in the pit. Amazing dropping low from the Baron, and Rales pops the ult to try and just lock Jisoo down, stop him from getting in there, and so close.
Might fight.
So close for Pridestalker and Amazing. But Amazing ended up getting it. Pridestalker's smite didn't go off. And Misfits Academy find themselves without the Baron buff. Amazing. Is that enough for Fnatic Academy to secure their spot in the summer split?
If Kozku's in that fight, it's an entirely different ball game. If Kikis is in that fight, it's an entirely different ball game. 2 Barons, I believe, remain on Fnatic Academy. I'm not sure if Kikis got one as well. I think he was just respawning now. Only 2. Amazing, and Mr. Rales will have their Barons. And to mean they've got this mid lane tower. 600 gold the difference between these 2 teams as this game, this series, this spot in the LCS is on a knife edge.
Interesting that you talk about a ball game, because remember, Misfits Academy have looked the most composed both teams have when playing the Syndra, and both teams opted not to pick it.
Oh, 8 HP.
Whew. Close. Close. Yuki's making a name for himself, as is Pridestalker. Misfits Academy taking this all the way to 5 games. Fnatic Academy looking very sloppy in games 2 and 3. Now maybe, I mean, they're only 1,000 gold up. We're talking like they are closing in on a win, but Misfits have done such a good job. Now they want to go aggressive. That hits onto Rales with the ultimate.
Onto Cly as well. Stranglethorns will push them back though. Jisoo re-engages onto Amazing. The explosive cast knocks them in. A slicing maelstrom as well. Where is Kozku? He's looking for it.
Exhaust is up on Niski. That's what he has to be careful for. A lot of cooldowns used.
Baron buff still there as well. They continue to push in. This tier 2 tower down to half. Yuki jumps forward.
Hit Niski and took about 1/3 of his health off with 1 Mystic shot. That's enough for Fnatic to start retreating. Amazing, he's quite slow off the mark here, but it's not enough for Misfits. All they're looking for is a defensive posture in mid lane. Looking just to try and hold the tower.
This game feels like a reflection on the entire series. Fnatic Academy's objective play has been strong. They take the Baron, they've got 3 dragons, they're now looking for towers. Misfits Academy's fighting has been so much stronger though, and the question is, which wins out? Is it macro or is it team fight? Once again, we see a tower fall for Fnatic.
And look, cosQ's trying to defend top lane, but Fnatic are already on their way. There was such a big minion wave up here that not even the Katarina Blades was enough to kill the minions before the Baron buff gets up there. Now it's another tower going down. This is the lead that Fnatic needed to open with this Baron buff if they wanted to take down Misfits, because Misfits are still in this game. Yuki is exceptionally strong, 5-0-1. They have a good engaged tool out of this Nautilus, but it hasn't been hitting the mark.
And as much as we say that the Baron isn't the end of the game, it can feel like that at times, especially when you lose it in a smite fight and you start to lose towers. It's gone 3 towers in favor of Fnatic with that push, and now Misfits Academy are behind in gold, 1,500. It's not a gargantuan margin, but it's enough to start you thinking, can we win this game? Can we come back after losing that much?
Whew. It is right down to it.
we're like having sighs of exasperation, of tension, of adrenaline pushing through us. And imagine how much more the players must have that.
Part of that is the fact that Fnatic Academy's wins have looked dominant, and that hasn't been how this game has looked. So can they win a game that is a different style to the previous ones? It's heavily reliant now on killing Yuki. It always has been for the game, but even more so now, because Yuki is strong enough to carry Misfits Academy if this goes longer. You have a Lee Sin, a Gragas, a LeBlanc. Kennen is maybe one of the only picks that can handle some of that, and Yuki will keep him at arm's length.
Yuki decides against going for that QSS as well. Instead has gone purely down an aggressive route. Last Whisper play to the Ruin King. Amazing.
Careful, Rales here.
Rales is in the front. Jisoo's behind her, but Hero amazing and Kick is to knock that Nautilus back. Gets knocked out. Courage gives him a shield. Here's Pride Stalker as well. Slicing Maelstrom use. Stranglethorns to disengage. The turret fallen already, of course, as Misfits continue to push in. Look at the damage onto Niski. Those mystic shots are doing mystical amounts of work here.
cosQ is so patient, and this is a reminiscent build of the Shen build that Jisoo came out with last week. He's finished Knight's Vow, which is an almost wholly selfless build. He's applied it to cosQ for damage mitigation. Not only Knight's Vow, Locket of the Iron Solari, you have a Karma, you have a Redemption. Everything is about putting cosQ into the middle of this fight, keeping him alive, and doing enough damage so that either he can reset or Yuki can clean up the fight. It is a risky strategy, and they are throwing everything at trying to out-teamfight Fnatic Academy.
Baron is up in a minute. Elder Dragon, 1 minute and 30 seconds. 3 dragons to naught for Fnatic. 2 oceans in that mountain, of course. And perhaps Misfits will have to fight over one of these objectives. Perhaps they will have to see if they can get the team fight that they so want to be able to shut down Fnatic. But Cly's got his Leandries. You've got 4 items completed on Rales. You've got 2 and a bit on Niski. And
as strong as all of that is, there's a handful of things that are significant for these fights. 2 of them are the exhausts that sit in Fnatic's summoner abilities. If those are down and a fight begins, cosQ can almost certainly clean up. Then it's all on crowd control, which there's a lot of from Fnatic. But at the same time, if you can't lock down cosQ, they'll take apart the team. Oh, Niski right before Baron. TP coming through. Jisoo wants this fight.
They're looking for the flank onto Rales. That's the target. He gets stunned up with the staggering blows. Mystic shot doesn't quite connect. Kickers is still off towards the side. There's the true shot barrage. Rales still there. Death Lotus comes down. They get one. They're looking for more. Niski sniped off towards the side. Kickers is going to fall as well as Misfits get 2 kills.
That's going to be an in.
Look for the in-hit. They push in. It's only amazing Niski and Cly left alive to try and defend.
And this was the difficulty. If you can't get through the shields, the Knight's Vow, the damage mitigation, there's 35 seconds left on these death timers, 40 seconds on Kickers. They might try and just push this down.
One exhaust left up. The Strangled Thorns comes down to try and clear the wave. Misfits Academy can taste the LCS. They can taste that spot. Nexus Towers, the target. Pride-Stalker jumps in. His costume. He gets two. Niski jumps out. Misfits with the Nexus Towers. They get the kills. They get the ace, and they're gonna take the base. Misfits Academy, welcome to the LCS.
You can see how much it means for Misfits Academy. Some of these players have been trying split after split. Everybody counted them out. 4th place in the regular season, and they come back and run it right through to the LCS without dropping a series after playoffs.
Unbelievable is the word I would use to describe that. Underestimated at every turn. People put them up against Schalke, said they'd lose. People put them up against Origin, said they'd lose. People put them up against Fnatic Academy and said they'd lose. But Misfits show up huge once again.
That was just a clean decision. Jizu TP's in. Pride-Stalker, Kozq, Yuki, everybody follows up, and they grab Rales, they get him in a fight. They follow that through, then get Niski, then get Kikis, and everybody was just dead. Nobody could survive. Nobody could defend the Nexus.
Commiserations, of course, to Fnatic Academy. They'll play up against the winner of our 2nd series of the day tomorrow. They still have that final shot, and they have looked so strong throughout the entirety of playoffs and promotions that you would be hard-pressed to bet against them tomorrow. However, today they are the losers as Misfits Academy secure a deserved spot in the LCS.
It was a tough series for both teams. Some sense of it self-inflicted, some of it mistakes here and there, but at the end of it, Misfits Academy pretty much shocking the challenger world. Back-to-back wins over teams everybody deemed were a lot stronger than them, and they find themselves in the LCS for the 2017 summer split.
And you look at people like Yuki and Dreams, who played for Misfits before they got into the Challenger Series and went all the way to the LCS. You look at Pride-Stalker, who's been a Challenger-level player since he was 13. Look at Jisoo, who played in the Korean Challenger Series. They're all such strong names that really have deserved the chance to get to the LCS.
And you look at Kozq, a player that since spring 2015 has regularly been on the cusp of getting through playoffs. He has finally earned his spot in the LCS. Nobody gave it to him. Nobody just said, hey, come play for us. Split after split of failure, he has earned his way to face the LCS's best mid laners.
Determination can get you there. Misfits Academy take the spot in the European LCS with a win in Game 5. That will do for it. That will do it for us here at the caster desk. Thank you very much, Stress, for casting with me. Let's see what our analysts have to say.
Thank you, Medic. What a fantastic, exciting moment for